What's up, everyone? It is your girl Beaute 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time to get into the new Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge palette. So this arrived at my house this afternoon. I wish it had arrived yesterday when I had the day off work, but you know, it was a Sunday, so mail didn't show up on Sundays, unfortunately. So this is what the palette looks like on the inside. You all, I'm sure, have seen it. I showed you the new makeup releases and all that. This is what she looks like, honey. And I'm just like, okay. It's definitely my sort of color story. We all know I love me a blue, green, purple moment, and then it gave me a nice cool tone situation and some pinks. So I'm gonna start off with the comparisons. So of course y'all know I gotta compare it to the Laura palette. The Laura palette is like my new favorite Blend Bunny palette, so I had to make sure I showed it. So here's what they look like side by side. I can't wait to pair these two together because, honey, you know I am. Next we have the Surge palette. So this is what they look like side by side. I feel like some of the pastels in this one look somewhat similar to the ones in here, but I feel like these are a little bit brighter pastel than these. I feel like these are a little more muted pastel, if you will. So here's what both of them look like. I didn't bring the original blends palette just because it's literally a rainbow palette, and we know they're not gonna be comparable by any means. But I did bring the rest of the palettes I own. So I have the All Done Up next, and I feel like when it comes to fall, I would like to pair the All Done Up with the Sweet and Grunge because I feel like it'd be some nice airbrush pastel shades to mix in with the deeper grungier tones in here. Like this super dark green, I feel like would go nice with this green right here. And I feel like some of the shimmers would look nice with the shimmers in here. So I'm interested to possibly pair these up when it comes to fall. But that's what this looks like. And then the last one I have to show is the Dollhouse. So this is what she looks like alongside this palette. Okay, now we're gonna get into the comparisons of other palettes in my collection that I thought looked similar to this. I have a few, of course, because it's me. I'm not gonna have time to do the reel before this video goes up, so that's why I'm doing it here. If I do it in the video, that means I don't have time to make a reel before the video goes up. And I'll have a reel up probably later in the week, like I did with the Rick and Morty palette, which is currently what's on my eyes right now. If you're curious how I made this eye look, I used the Rick and Morty X Glam Light palette. So I have the Artist Couture Ethereal Bloom palette. If you want a miniature version of this color story, I feel like this might be a good alternative for you. I don't know if he makes this anymore. You'd have to check his website. I know they don't have it at Sephora anymore, but I thought it was a cute little small version. But the only downside with this one is if you're a person like me who likes deep outer V shades, you can't use this with it. But I would possibly pair this with this because I feel like I like the fact that these pinks are brighter, and I can use this brighter, lighter pop of pink to go with this one because I feel like that one's a little bit deeper and muted, and this is more of a fun hot pink situation. So some of the shades in here look like they would go nicely with the shades in here, along with some of the shimmers layered on top of each other. So I plan on using this as a companion palette with this one to get some nice looks out of it. Next, I have my Lethal Cosmetics, the Wildflower palette. To me, this definitely seemed like it was possibly a miniature version of the Sweet and Grunge palette. So I want to show them side by side. But I feel like it'll be a good companion palette to this one too, just because it has some unique, deeper purple shades to go with it. And plus these metallic shimmers in here that shift, that are multi-chrome, just look like they are dual chrome, look like they are stunning. So I can't wait to pair this one with this one as well. I've been wanting to use this palette some more, and so now I have an excuse to. Thank you. Thank you, Blend Bunny, for giving me an excuse to use this palette some more, because I definitely feel like it'll pair with it. Now I feel like the Retro Glam from Natasha seems like a muted version of this one without the purples and like the without the purple and like the turquoise shade. I feel like if you took those shades out, this would just be this palette. So it's a more muted version for people like. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and show this in it. But yeah. Then we have this Linda Hallberg palette. I remember when Mel Thompson ended up having this one of these shades pop out on her in her makeup collection video. I was sorry y'all, I was trying to show y'all this palette here. My card got full and now my battery is blinking. It's just a whole bunch of stuff going off. Hold on. But yeah, so I feel like this is a more muted version of this palette as well. I mean, it gives you some of those fun same pops of color, but They look somewhat similar, so if you have this one, you might not necessarily need to get this one. I will say though, I wasn't that impressed with the pigmentation on this one when I used it on my eyes. So I just have to say that my cousins bought me this one for Christmas, if I remember correctly. Next I have the Retro Love from Beauty Bay. And this is what she looks like. I feel like this would be a good companion palette for this one because it has some fun, unique colors in it that aren't necessarily in this one, but I feel like they would pair well together. So this one isn't necessarily to compare as far as it being exact. I feel like they have some similar colors, but I feel like this would be nice to pair with this one, so that's why I'm showing it. Okay, this one my friend let me borrow as well, and I ended up having to buy her a whole brand new palette from this brand because that green shade Limeade broke, if you all remember I told you, so I had to buy a whole brand new palette because since they'll be doing their pans and making them smaller, they didn't have just the single of me buying that, so I had to spend 30 bucks. So that was an expensive one just to like show y'all as a comparison of whatever video that was. So I'm just like, But anyway, this is the Bad Witch Club. I was tempted to get this, I'm not even front, just because I like the color story of it, but I feel like this would be a good palette to pair with this if you already have it, because they have some similar tones, but at the same time it has some of these unique weird matte shades that I like, that I feel like would pair nicely together. So that's what it looks like. I only got one more, and then I'm going to zoom y'all in and figure out what eye look I'm going to do and go get a new battery because honey, she's trying to die. The last one is the Aura Struck palette. If you all remember, I redid my Aura Struck palette, but I feel like this is somewhat similar to this one. It just doesn't have the pink shades in it, because I feel like it has everything else. Like, see, you got this purple row, you got the green row, you got the blue row, you got the cool tone grayish looking row, and then you have the neutral row here where my hand is. So I'm like, I feel like this one, if you're not crazy about pink, you might just like this one instead. But do keep in mind, I did change mine around because y'all know I live to change around the ColourPop palette. They always give me shades that I don't need, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna take it. So zoom in real quick and cute like. I remember I have on Rick and Morty on my eyes if anyone cares. I did a review with 3 looks on this palette. I'll try to remember to link it up above. I make no promises. I'm gonna go off camera and get my life in order. I'm sorry I can only give y'all one look with this palette tonight, but if I want this video to go up tomorrow, I can only give you one look. So you get one look so I can get this done for tomorrow. Anyway, I gotta figure out life. I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, y'all, so this is the eye I came up with. I mean, I feel like none of us are surprised. So I dipped into Skater Girl and Sweetheart. I put those together to make our transition shade. I use these two. I use this one. I use this one. I use this one. And I use these two shimmers for, I use this shimmer for the inner corner and these two on the lid. So I feel like y'all knew this was something I was going to do, something like that, just because those are my type of shades. So we're going to start off with Sweetheart and Skater Girl. Sorry, it's not Skater Boy, it's Skater Girl. So you start painting it up here. I want to do a really pastel look. I love pastels even though they don't love me back, but you know, that's okay. I regret not using like a full white base now because I feel like the purple and the green would have popped more if I had, but you know, it's kind of late now, girl, because it's like 4:30 in the morning. I still got to go home and go to bed, so this what we're going to have to work with. I still think like the look turned out pretty nice. That's pretty pigmented considering, you know, I still aren't necessarily brown girl friendly at all times, or a good majority of the time, unless you have like a certain type of base and all that to put with it. So I think I did good, all things considered. I'd be interested to see how these matte shades just look on the lid for some of my skin tone as opposed to like having them as little pops of color, because a lot of times I feel like people with my skin tone have to use them as transition shades and stuff like that. We can't necessarily use them as like crease shades. Next, I'm gonna take Teen Spirit. That's the name of the bluish dark shade that's on my outer V. I'm definitely gonna be making some more looks with this week, so you can stay tuned for that. I'll probably recreate this look to get some better pictures and redo my thumbnail tomorrow, or I might just do a different color story with this palette. So we'll have to see, but this is just what I felt like and came up with tonight. So this what we gotta work with, girl, cause I gotta go to work. I know my work week is halfway over though, cause it's Tuesday, so I'm just like, yes, Lord. But as you can see, it looks nice. I'm liking this cute little color combo I have done so far. It's definitely a whole vibe. Now I'm going to take the shade Candy. That's the light sky bluish looking shade, and I just like started patting it down and putting it on top of this one, and kind of like airbrush it out a little bit, because y'all know sometimes I like drag it over the back part of the eye, so that's what I did with it this go around. And then I pat it to the crease to a certain extent, so I took it farther than I normally would. Don't know why, I just decided to, so it's gonna be farther than I normally do it, but you know, it's cool, whatever. So let me sit up with you and see what I'm doing with y'all. So I'm just patting with shades like this. I try not to blend it out. I used to, but I'm finding that it lasts better if you just keep it patting. So it's gonna be vibrant and blue right now, but then once we, you know, start putting the rest of the colors on, it's gonna oxidize down and it won't be this bright. But as you can see, my initial application, it gives a pretty nice and bright look. Let me go to the other side and try to brighten it up a little bit, because I want both of them to be like equally bright and nice when I get ready to take the thumbnail. I'm thinking about taking my hair down, but I'm just like, I'm gonna have to put it right back up after I get done taking the pictures. I'm like, do I really want to do this? Like, no, I don't want to play myself like that. I don't want to do that now. Pat, 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 girl. Okay, now we're gonna go into the shade Baby Tea. That's the light pastel-y lavender type purple shade, and I kind of tap them together a little bit to kind of marry them in as I put it on. And this is with the Blend Bunny #2 brush. I was trying to find a different one that was a little bit more pointed, but this one ended up working out pretty well, and it sits right in my crease. So I feel like out of all the shades, this one was the one that disappointed me the most, because I feel like out of all the pigmentation for all the ones I put in my crease, like this is the one that had the least amount of pigmentation and the color was the least vibrant. So I was a little disappointed in this. I'm like, I feel like this one definitely needs the benefit and help of a white base, because these other ones I feel like do okay, but this one, honey, I feel like she is on struggle bus. And the green one left fallout on my nose when I did it, so just FYI when we get there, like, this is one you might have to do your eyes first. I know some people don't like doing that, but I'm like, it's gonna give a little bit of fallout, so just keep that in mind. The shade Ironic, that's the green. I got fallout, but I left a lot on my brush because I wanted to make sure the pigmentation, like, you know, showed up on my eyes. So that could just be why I ended up having fallout, because I left so much on my brush. But I was like, you gonna see this color on my skin tone, regardless of me not using white base, you're gonna see it. So that's why I left so much on my brush, because I wanted it to be seen. And I accomplished that. As you can see, it's very bright in the inner corner over here. So to me, it's not looking necessarily true to pan as it does. I mean, it's not looking true to pan on the eyes, what I meant to say, but you know, it's still looking pretty decent and pretty nice. So I don't have too much complaint there. Go back in a little bit more Baby Tea. Like I said, when I get done talking to y'all, I'm gonna do the picture, and I want them to look as vibrant as possible on both sides. So I'm trying to just kind of, you know, get it together. But I love doing a gradient crease. I think it looks so fun. So since I had a whole bunch of fun pastel colors to put together, I was like, we just gonna do a gradient crease with this. Now with the shimmers, I was going to use bubble gum. That's the one I ended up putting in the inner corner on the lid. But oh god, that's way too much glitter. Child, my glitter glue is like split on the side, and so like all of that just popped out, and I'm like, oh Lord, we do not need that much for this eye look. We don't. So I just wasted glitter glue. But it's cool. I need to buy a new one anyway to leave over here, because this is where I do the majority of the eye looks. So NYX is having buy 2 get 1 free, so I might just buy 3 glitter glues, or maybe buy some like Milky Gloss bombs and glitter glue. I should give them my correct shade in the Blur Tint foundation, since you know the shade I had is wrong. But you know, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so for the shimmers, we're gonna start off with the shade Jawbreaker. That's the purple I put in the front. The shimmers in here are kind of that mushy material or texture, kind of like the Glam Light ones. So we're gonna start off with the purple. I usually start off from the back and work my way to the front, but I don't know, this time I did the front to the back. So I try to switch it up every now and again. I mean, I know this is like a super small thing to switch up, but it's still a switch up, so yay for switching it up from time to time, I guess. Okay, now we're going to shade Butterfly. That's the mint shade. This one didn't want to pick up on the brush as easily as the Jawbreaker shade, so it took a little bit more finessing to get it on this brush. I like the way it turned out overall. I think I would have preferred to put doing the back toward the front though, because I feel like the mint is taking over a little bit more of the purple than I would like, and I prefer it to be the other way around, which is why I normally put on the back shade first and the front shade last. So that's the only really complaint I have, but it's kind of my own fault. It doesn't have anything to do with, like, you know, the palette itself. So I'm just taking a little bit more of the purple and put it over the mint, so it'll get more of the transition I wanted. Do it on this side too, right? You should do it on both sides. So that's what we're working with so far. I'm really loving how the crease turned out, y'all, because I'm telling y'all, I was scared and didn't think it was going to turn out the way I hoped. We need some more baby tea. I told y'all, baby tea is the one I feel like I struggle with the most when it comes to the colors, because I feel like all the other colors are still looking vibrant, but I feel like it's just like this barely little pop of purple. I almost kind of want to put the deeper one in there, but I'm like, I feel like that'll mess up the moment, because then you won't get this light, bright, pastel-y creases you have going on. So it's like I kind of want to, but at the same time I kind of don't, because I feel like it's going to ruin the vibe. So I think I'm just leaving alone, even though I so desperately want the purple to just give a little more than it's giving. I mean, like, desperately want it to give a little bit more than what it's giving, but you know, just leave it alone. We're gonna put some more ironic there, because I feel like when I cut the glitter glue, it kind of took away a little section right here. And then y'all know I gotta add the outer V shade. So if y'all have noticed, I've been doing this new thing where I do like a ombre outer V, if you will, to give a little extra oomph to the back of the eye, just like the front. So that's where that shade Baggy Jeans came in, that's underneath Candy, that deeper blue. So I just kind of tapped it on top here to marry these two shades together, and I think it makes like a cool ombre effect to your outer V. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And here we go with that, just a little bit more. I just feel like it gives a little extra something, you know, like a little extra oomph, if you will. And I'm gonna take just a little bit more butterfly toward the back and just like lightly around the edge of that. So, okay, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. So let's get into this inner corner shade, honey. Bubblegum. I think I've been calling it butterfly, but no, butterfly is the mint shade, and then bubblegum, the inner corner shade. It's like that icy pink, whitish type shade. I must say, I'm pretty impressed. So this is your finished eye look, girl. Let's back it on up and talk about my thoughts about this palette. So underneath my lower lash line, I had already put something because I didn't know this. Well, I knew the palette had been there, but I didn't know which palette had came. And I do lower lash line normally when I do eye looks when I'm going to work, so that's why you got this. So I must say, I'm pretty impressed with the palette. The only thing I wasn't impressed with, like I told y'all, was the shade Baby Tea. So I'm gonna have to try to mix it with the detention when I do a look with these the next time. I'm thinking about doing a pink and purple look later on this week, and then maybe like another green, blue, and purple look, or maybe just a green look on its own, like a grungy green look with the cool tone shade, so that way we can use the majority of the palette up, because we've already dipped into the greens, the blues, the purples, and used a little bit of the pink, but I didn't truly use the pink. So I kind of want to do pink and green one day, and then maybe do a nice cool toned and purple vibe, and then maybe we could just do the gray on its own. I'm not sure yet, but I must say I was impressed with it. I was a little disappointed in the shade Bubblegum. Again, let me show you the swatches on my hand. So this one is Bubblegum, this one is the orange shade that was next to it. What's that called? Prom Queen. This y'all know is Butterfly, and this is Jawbreaker. So I had to swatch them on my hand to see which one I wanted, but I'm a little disappointed that it's not like the true frosty pink. I feel like it's not really showing its frosty. I was hoping it would on the back of my hand. So those are the only other things I really have to complain about. And if I feel like if I use a white base, I can make this, excuse me, work a little bit better for me as well as this one. So I'm hoping with that going on, it'll work a little bit better in my favor. But I like the palette overall. Of course, the formula of it seems to be the same as all the other Blend Bunny palettes. Now, it's not knocking my Laura palette off its throne. Laura is still #1 for me, but this is definitely a contender in my love. I would say this is in my top 3 would probably be Laura, Surge, and this one would be last. But I feel like I'm gonna enjoy pairing this with my Laura palette a lot because of the fun neon-ish pastel-y pops that can go along with the shades that are in there. So I'm more excited to put this with my Laura palette than about it necessarily on its own, but that doesn't mean it's not a great palette and that I don't enjoy having it in my collection. So those are my thoughts on the palette. I'll give y'all some more looks this week, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.